God's acts. I was reading a quote a little while ago. I don't remember it, but it said something like, everyone wants to be a martyr, but no one wants to get out of their chair and do the dishes. What they don't understand is that martyrdom isn't a big step. It starts with a group of small steps. And that made me think, everybody says they die for God. Would they live for Him? As I think subconsciously, it's to quote the play Hamilton, dying is easy, living is harder. Think, I'd get to go out and everyone would know how holy I was. But no, what does Jesus say? He doesn't say, die for me. He says, take up the cross and follow me. What is the cross? Death. If you end up a martyr, that's great. But Christianity, and most Christians aren't, even in areas of persecution, but especially not in the West, where Christianity is much more accepted. Many would say to one healthy degree, there's no cost. But even if you ignore that, you still have to, as it said, get up and do the dishes. You have to do the small steps before the big steps. As Luke 16:10 puts it, whoever can be trusted with little will be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with little will be dishonest with much. That's what Jesus is saying. How trustworthy are you? If I can't even trust you with the small thing, how can I trust you with holiness in the kingdom of God? And you have to keep in mind the verse beforehand. He tells a parable about a man who worked for a rich man, and he was in trouble. His boss knew he wasn't a very good worker and was thinking of firing him. So the man came up with an idea to make himself look better. And so he calls in and those in debt to his boss, the steward, the rich man's steward. He calls in those and he asks, how much do you owe my boss? 100 pieces of oil. Right, that's 50. And then to the next man, how much do you owe him? 100 pieces of wheat. Well then, right, that it's 80. So the master commended the unjust steward because he had dealt shrewdly. And then, what does Jesus say in response? He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much, and he who is unjust in what is least is unjust in much. Therefore, if you have not been faithful in the unrighteous money, mammon, who will commit to you the true riches? And if you have not been faithful in another man's, who will give you what is your own? Really saying, you can't have the big stuff without the little stuff. Literally, why would God... I'm just going to leave you with one question. Why would God trust you to be a martyr if he can't even trust you to clean up? Something small like that.